Most people spend months choosing the perfect kitchen tile or the softest lighting for their bedroom. But the part of your home that decides whether good energy even enters in the first place. It's often ignored, designed for convenience, or simply copied from the neighbors. I'm talking about your front gate, the one detail that greets every guest, every delivery, and more importantly, every opportunity. And yes, it's designed specifically. The way it opens can quietly influence how smoothly your life flows inside that house. Now, before that sounds too far-fetched, think of it this way. The gate is your home's first gesture to the outside world. Is it extending an arm to welcome in the day, or is it pulling inward like a step back? In hundreds of home energy audits, one pattern stands out. Homes where the gate opens outward tend to feel more alive, more open, and yes, more balanced. It's a subtle cue, but one that reflects a mindset of receiving, of reaching, of allowing. In contrast, a gate that swings inward often creates a feeling, sometimes so quiet, it's hard to name, of closing in, of things getting stuck, or never quite arriving. This isn't about superstition or aesthetics. It's about flow. About whether the space you've built is working with you, or quietly resisting you. And in this video, we're going to explore the logic, the symbolism, and the lived experience behind one simple design choice that just might explain why some homes feel lighter, why some families move forward with more ease, and why small changes right at your front door can have ripple effects that go far beyond the sidewalk. Because sometimes, wealth doesn't arrive with a bang, it knocks, and the way your gate opens answers. Part 1: Open outward equals welcome, and open inward equals pull back. Let's start with something simple. Picture a guest arriving at your home. They step up to the gate, pause, and reach for the handle. Now ask yourself what happens next. Do they push the gate gently forward and step into your space with ease? Or do they have to pull it inward, toward themselves, just to cross the threshold? It seems like a small thing, a hinge, a swing, a direction. But that motion outward or inward says more about your home than you might think. Because when your gate opens outward, you're not just letting someone in, you're showing the world, and energy itself, that your home is open, that it welcomes, receives, and embraces what's coming its way. And when it opens inward, the signal is different. Subtle, yes, but distinct. It's the motion of retreat, of pulling back, of holding things off just a little longer. And that's where the difference begins, not just in mechanics, but in meaning. In countless energy studies, consultations, and real-life observations, this one detail comes up again and again. Homes with gates that open outward often feel lighter. Not because they're newer, or bigger, or fancier, but because they offer a gentle invitation. There's a rhythm to them. The air moves more freely. The atmosphere feels open, clear, and quietly confident. You step in and feel like the house is already saying yes. But when the gate opens inward, things shift. Visitors hesitate. The first movement becomes an act of pulling, of bringing something in, rather than letting it arrive naturally. The message becomes quieter, but more uncertain. Wait. Not yet. Come in, but carefully. And often, that subtle energetic hesitation doesn't stop at the door. It finds its way into daily life: delays, missed calls, slowed progress, opportunities that pass by just out of reach. Not because anyone did anything wrong, but because the house never fully opened the door to begin with. Now, does this mean every home with an inward opening gate is doomed to struggle? Of course not. But it does mean there's a language being spoken. And most people never realize they're part of the conversation. Your home has a posture, a presence. It can lean in with curiosity or lean back in resistance. And the gate is where that posture begins. In traditional energy wisdom, the gate is more than just an entry point. It's the handshake between your home and the world outside. And just like a real handshake, it matters how it's offered. A firm, open gesture suggests trust. Reaching out says, "I see you. I'm ready." But pulling inward, That's like waiting for the other person to do all the work. Like offering a greeting that feels hesitant. In life, we don't always get to choose where we live or how our home was built. Many of us inherit layouts, buy homes that are already shaped, or follow building codes that force certain decisions. But direction is about more than architecture. It's about intention. And intention, when paired with awareness, can change almost everything. If your gate opens outward, notice how that energy feels. Is it supported by light, by movement, by flow? Does it allow space to pause, breathe, and step in with ease? And if your gate opens inward, ask yourself, does it create a moment of tension, a pinch at the threshold, a sense that you're crossing into something rather than being welcomed by it? You don't need to rebuild your gate to understand this. You only need to recognize what your home is already saying. Because even the smallest signal, when repeated every day, shapes the way energy moves in your life. So, is your home saying, come in? Or is it saying, not now? This one quiet choice, this single swing of the gate might just be where openness begins. Where flow returns. And where the feeling of stuckness finally starts to lift. Because welcoming abundance isn't about chasing it. It's about not pushing it away. And sometimes we've been doing just that. One silent motion at a time. Part 2: can't change the gate. Shift the energy anyway. Not every home is a blank canvas. Sometimes we inherit walls, layouts, and gate placements that were chosen long before us. A narrow front path. A homeowners association that won't allow exterior changes. City codes that make outward opening gates impossible. And for many people, that realization comes with a quiet frustration. I want to welcome in more energy, more abundance, more ease, but I can't even change how my front gate swings. If that's you, take a breath. Because even when structure is fixed, energy is not. The way energy enters your home doesn't begin and end with hardware. It begins with awareness. And once you understand how energy flows, you can shift it, guide it, and soften it even without moving a single screw. Let's start here. Energy notices how we meet the world. It doesn't just pass through structures. It listens for signals. If your gate opens inward, it may not be ideal, but it doesn't mean you've lost your chance to create welcome. It just means you need to intentionally balance the message. You can do that with light, sound, motion, and space. One of the most powerful tools is warm, directional lighting. A soft golden light near your gate, even one simple fixture that turns on as the sun goes down, can draw energy in like a gentle invitation. Light says there's life here, there's warmth here, you're safe to enter. And energy, like people, responds to safety and softness. It flows toward what feels steady. Next, consider adding motion that whispers, not shouts. A light metal wind chime, a mobile. Even the subtle flicker of leaves on a narrow plant can help energy pause, gather, and move inward naturally. Motion catches the eye. It also softens hard edges. When everything is still, energy tends to rush in and bounce. But when something is moving just a little, it creates rhythm. And rhythm invites flow. Plants, too, are more than decoration. They're directional anchors. A tall, slender plant placed just outside your gate, not to block, but to guide, can serve as a soft conductor, showing energy where to go. It's not about crowding the entrance. It's about shaping the path with intention. Picture it like a stream. Water flows better when it's gently curved, not forced through harsh corners. Your gate is the mouth of the stream. Let the plants gently bend the current inward. If your space allows, create a buffer zone between your gate and your front door. A stepping stone path, a small bench, a slight garden bed. These in-between spaces give energy time to slow down, adjust, and arrive fully before crossing into your home. It's like walking into a friend's home and being greeted by a quiet porch. You feel welcome before the door even opens. And then, don't forget the tone you set inside. Sometimes, A home with a gate that opens perfectly outward still feels off because the energy was invited in and then left to wander. Energy, like a guest, needs a reason to stay. Inside the entrance, consider a soft rug, a table with something alive, a plant, a bowl of fruit, fresh flowers, or even a low light that stays on through dusk. These are subtle signals that say you've arrived. You're welcome here. When we can't change the structure, we change the experience. That's the heart of working with what is. Not everything has to be ideal for it to be effective. Energy is surprisingly forgiving when we work with it gently, with intention. So if your gate swings the wrong way, don't let that become the story of your home. Let it be the beginning of a new chapter 1, where energy is welcomed. Not just by the direction of the door, but by the feeling in the space, where you say, come in, not just with design, but with atmosphere, with rhythm, with care. Because in the end, energy doesn't need perfection. It just needs an opening. And you right now can create one. Part 3. What else could be quietly blocking abundance? Mistake 1. A mirror facing the entrance. Sometimes, it's not what's missing from a home that blocks abundance. It's what's already there, quietly undoing the good you're trying to invite in. And one of the most common culprits hides in plain sight, a mirror facing your front entrance. At first glance, it seems harmless, decorative,
useful.
Maybe you like to check your reflection before walking out the door. Maybe it bounces sunlight into a hallway or makes a small foyer feel bigger. And sure, mirrors do that. They reflect light, space, and movement. But that's also exactly the problem, because mirrors don't choose what they reflect. They bounce everything back, indiscriminately. And when a mirror faces your main door, it may be reflecting the very energy you've been trying to bring in, sending it right back out before it has a chance to settle. Think about that for a moment. You've cleared the entrance, placed plants, maybe even shifted the energy around a gate that opens inward. You've worked to create a welcoming space. But then, the first thing energy meets is its own reflection, and instead of moving forward, it hesitates, redirects, or leaves. It's like opening your door to a guest, only to mirror their hello back at them without stepping aside, without letting them in. It's subtle, but energetically, it's jarring. The flow stops before it starts, and the consequences aren't always dramatic. They're slow, quiet. You might notice money coming in but never quite staying. Ideas starting strong but fading before they take root. A sense of restlessness that hangs in the air, even when life looks fine on paper. Because when the entryway says no in a way we don't see, our days start with a silent push away. Of course, this isn't about fear. It's about awareness. Not every mirror facing a front door will create chaos. But many do disrupt flow, and most people never even question it. That's what makes this mistake so easy to overlook. Mirrors are everywhere in modern design. They're encouraged. They're beautiful. And when placed well, they're powerful tools for expanding energy. But when placed opposite the entrance, especially at eye level, they often do more harm than good. In traditional wisdom, the entrance is the mouth of the home. It receives, absorbs, and begins the conversation between inside and out. The mirror, when directly across from it, acts like a closed mouth. A bounce, a no, and the deeper impact goes beyond energy. A mirror in that position can create a psychological flicker. 2. Imagine opening your door after a long day and catching a flash of movement or your own face, staring back before anything else. Even if you're used to it, your nervous system may not be. It's a moment of alertness, of subtle tension. And over time, it adds up. More fatigue, more irritation, more emotional noise at the place where you should feel calmest. The good news: you don't need to remove the mirror entirely. If it serves another purpose, if you love it, you can soften its impact. The goal isn't to get rid of beauty. It's to redirect the energy it reflects. Start by asking, what else could the mirror face instead? A living plant, a painting that brings joy, a lamp with a soft, warm glow. Even shifting the mirror slightly so it no longer captures the full doorway can make a difference. Or, add a tall plant between the mirror and the door to act as a visual buffer. You can also frame the mirror with materials that soften its edge: wood, linen, or rounded details to make the energy feel absorbed rather than bounced. And if none of those are options, you can even choose to cover the mirror during certain hours, especially when you're expecting something new: a job offer, a guest, a shift in health, a change in finances. This becomes more than just a design choice. It becomes a ritual, a way of saying, "This time, I want the good to stay." What matters is not perfection but participation. That you're part of the energy shaping your home. That you're not just reacting to what feels off but noticing, adjusting, gently steering. Because the most powerful shifts don't always come from tearing down walls or hiring architects. They come from moments like this, from seeing what's been overlooked and choosing something different. A mirror can reflect light, or it can push it away. And when it faces the front door, it might just be bouncing out the one thing you've been waiting for. So ask yourself, when abundance arrives, does your home hold the door open? Or does it quietly send it back out? Sometimes, the answer is right there, shining back at you, waiting to be seen. Mistake 2. A large tree right in front of the gate. It's easy to love a tree. The shade, the roots, the quiet comfort it offers. In many neighborhoods, a large tree near the entrance feels like a blessing: natural, grounding, even elegant. But when that tree stands directly in front of your gate, it may be doing something you didn't expect. Not protecting your home but quietly blocking its breath. Every home, no matter how modest or grand, needs to breathe. Energy doesn't just flow through hallways, windows. Arrives from the outside, at the gate. And when that arrival is met by a thick trunk, dense branches, or a dark canopy of leaves, something subtle happens. The energy slows down, hesitates, or never fully enters. What you feel over time isn't disaster, it's drag, fatigue. That strange sense that life feels heavier than it needs to be. Imagine waking up every morning and walking toward your front door. You look outside and instead of openness, light, or motion, you see a shadow. A still mass. A barrier, even if it's green and beautiful. You stop seeing beyond it, and slowly, without noticing, your home begins to echo that. A little less clarity. A little more weight. Conversations feel more tense. Bills feel more frequent. Rest never feels quite complete. And while we blame stress, or schedules, or sleep, it may begin much earlier, at the place where energy was meant to come in, but was quietly turned away. Because here's what most people miss: energy is not just about beauty. It's about movement. A large tree blocks movement. It casts continuous shade over the gate, reducing light and making the entrance feel dim. And in energy terms, where there is no light, stagnation thrives. Yang energy, the one associated with growth, clarity, and motivation, can't thrive in dim, damp stillness. Instead, yin takes over: passive, heavy, slow. That's when life begins to feel off, not broken, just slower, less hopeful, harder to shift. Now, this isn't to say all trees are bad. Far from it. Trees near the gate can be deeply beneficial, especially those with gentle forms, upward branches, or filtered canopies. But a tree directly in front of the gate, especially one with thick roots and wide limbs, behaves differently. It becomes a wall of stillness, and that stillness, while peaceful in a park, may feel stifling when placed at the mouth of a living home. There's also the visual side. A tree that blocks the view out from your front door changes how you orient to the world. It limits visibility. You begin to see less possibility, fewer paths, less openness ahead. And your subconscious picks up on that. Slowly, decisions feel harder. Plans feel blurrier. You start living more inward, but not in the peaceful, reflective way. In the way that feels stuck, unsure, closed off. For homes with older residents or families raising children, this becomes even more critical. Elders may begin to feel isolated. Children may experience more restlessness, more conflict, less lightness. A blocked gate doesn't just slow down energy, it often absorbs it, drains it. The same way a heavy curtain muffles sound, a large tree in the wrong place muffles life. So what can be done? You don't need to remove the tree entirely unless it's already creating physical damage or safety risks. What you can do is work with it. Begin by assessing how much light the entrance still receives. If the area remains dim all day, consider selective pruning to open the canopy. Let sunlight return to the threshold. Light alone can change the entire mood of an entrance. Next, ask yourself, can the tree be repositioned, planted off to the side, rather than centered? If not, could you visually move the tree by balancing the other side with upward growing plants or architectural elements? Sometimes, energy doesn't need a dramatic fix, it needs a rebalancing of weight. If the tree is truly immovable, then guide the energy around it. Use stone paths that curve gently toward the entrance. Place soft lighting low to the ground. Add movement, wind chimes, grasses, small water features to stir the space. Or plant area companions like bamboo or palms nearby to reintroduce vertical flow. These small choices reopen the conversation between your home and the outside world. The key here is awareness. The moment you recognize that something beautiful might also be blocking you, that's when the real shift begins. You no longer accept fatigue as normal. You start listening to your space again. And that's powerful. So the next time you walk out your front door, pause. Look at what stands between you and the world. Ask gently, is this tree sheltering me or shadowing me? Is it anchoring me or holding me in place? And then, trust your body's answer. Because sometimes, the things we plant with love grow into walls we never meant to build. And all it takes to open the gate again is seeing what's been standing in the way. Mistake 3. The gate aligned with a bathroom or kitchen. Every home has a rhythm, an internal current that flows from room to room, often unnoticed but always felt. And at the center of that flow is your entrance. It's not just a physical point of entry, it's where energy first arrives, sets the tone, and spreads. So when the front gate aligns directly with something as energetically intense as a bathroom or a kitchen, that natural rhythm is disrupted, quietly, instinctively, day after day. Let's start with the bathroom. It may be spotless, renovated, modern, but by nature, a bathroom is a space of release, a place where things are flushed, drained, and let go. It carries energy downward. That's its function. But when this energy sits directly in the line of sight from your gate, meaning you can see the bathroom door as soon as you open the front gate, it creates a subtle clash between receiving and releasing. One side welcomes energy in. The other side immediately pushes it away. It's like opening the door for someone and, in the same breath, showing them the exit. The result: a home where energy doesn't linger. Prosperity comes but doesn't stay. Support arrives but feels thin. Rest feels interrupted. Now let's talk about the kitchen. On the surface, it's the heart of the home, nourishing, warm, full of movement. But the kitchen also represents fire, heat, activity. It's where things are transformed, boiled, burned, chopped. And when this space aligns directly with the front gate, that intensity gets hit with the full force of incoming energy. The result is what many traditions call clashing elements. The front door brings in fresh, often unpredictable energy. The kitchen needs grounding, stability, and harmony. When the two meet head-on, there's no buffer. No time for the energy to soften, settle, or integrate. Instead, you get sudden bursts, tension, emotional spikes, and in many cases, a drain on finances. Not because of poor budgeting, but because the very space that represents abundance and nourishment is overwhelmed. Think of it like hosting a guest. Your front gate says welcome. But the first thing your guest sees is either the toilet or the stove. What message does that send? Does it say, "Stay a while, you're safe here," or "This place runs hot, fast, and never quite slows down"? The effects of this alignment are often subtle. You may notice more arguments in the kitchen, or that no matter how much you eat, there's a strange emptiness afterward. You may feel mentally scattered, emotionally quick to react, or financially always on edge. These are not random patterns. They are energetic consequences of a layout that constantly stirs the pot before calm can enter the room. The good news is, you don't have to remodel your home to shift the dynamic. You just need to create a buffer, a gentle pause between the outside world and these high-impact zones. If the gate aligns with the bathroom, start by softening the line of sight. A tall plant, a folding screen, or a curtain across the bathroom doorway can make a surprising difference. You're not hiding the room. You're redirecting the energy, giving it time to breathe. Consider adding scent as well, a diffuser with grounding oils like cedar or lavender near the bathroom entrance. This helps shift the emotional signature of the space from drain to release. If the gate aligns with the kitchen, look for ways to anchor the energy. A rug with warm, earthy tones in the entryway. A narrow console table that holds fresh fruit, flowers, or a soft light. These act as transitions, turning a direct hit into a gentle entrance. You can also work within the kitchen itself. Make sure sharp tools are stored, not displayed. Keep the stove area clean and calm. And if possible, avoid placing anything highly reflective near the kitchen entrance. Mirrors or polished metal can amplify the intensity. And perhaps most importantly, become aware of your own mood when entering the home. Do you feel calm or immediately alert? Does your body soften or brace? These signals often reflect the space before our minds can make sense of it. Your nervous system is telling you something. Remember, alignment matters, not just in structure but in flow. When energy enters the home, it needs a place to land, to move gently through the space. When it meets fire or waste too soon, it either scatters or weakens. And what gets scattered outside doesn't get to nourish the people inside. So take a look at your entryway. Follow the line from your gate inward. What's the first thing energy sees? And how does that influence what comes next? Because sometimes, a home isn't lacking in good fortune. It just never gave it room to stay. Part 4: Strong Gate, Steady Life. 3 principles that keep energy flowing. Number 1. Gate shape. We often think strength in life comes from big decisions, career moves, life goals, financial plans. But sometimes, it begins with something far quieter. Something as simple and overlooked as the shape of your front gate. Gate shape doesn't just define how your home looks. It defines how your home feels. It sets the tone for what enters, what lingers, and what leaves. And when a gate is shaped in a way that disrupts that natural rhythm, the effect isn't loud, but it is lasting. Let's begin with what works: solid shapes. Clean, grounded forms. A square or rectangular gate, straight in structure and stable in proportion, offers more than aesthetic simplicity. It carries a message: this home is rooted. Energetically, these shapes belong to the earth element. They reflect structure, dependability, and support. Just as we feel steadier on a flat road than a winding path, energy too prefers clarity over chaos. A square gate invites that clarity. It tells the outside world and your inner world, this is a space where things can land, settle, and stay. Contrast that with gates that curve downward in the middle, like a smile sagging under pressure, or a line bending from weight. These gates might appear decorative, but energetically, they signal a dip, a softness where there should be lift. It's subtle, but symbolic. Energy that enters feels as though it's descending. It carries a tone of fatigue, of decline. Over time, this can manifest as a home that feels a little slower to recover, little less motivated to change, a little more prone to delay. Not because anyone lacks discipline, but because the first threshold whispers tired. Now think about gates with too many flourishes, ornate scrolls, jagged shapes, exaggerated spikes. They may be striking, even beautiful, but beauty isn't always harmony. A gate full of chaotic detail invites fragmented energy. Instead of moving smoothly into the home, energy arrives unsure of where to go. It scatters, bounces, loses momentum. In practice, this often shows up as scattered focus inside the house, unfinished projects. Clutter that returns no matter how often you clean. Plans that start but never quite finish. It's not the person. It's the pattern set right at the threshold. The same holds true for gates with sharp points, especially those that face directly outward. These can unintentionally send a message of defensiveness, of pushing energy away before it even arrives. In many homes, this leads to a strange tension, a desire for connection, but an underlying sense of guardedness. Visitors hesitate. Conversations don't flow. The house feels safe but not inviting. And while protection matters, it's equally important to ask, what kind of energy is my home prepared to receive? Now, some people choose arched gates, graceful, curved, like a gentle rise above the entrance. When done with balance, these shapes can be deeply supportive. A subtle arch, especially one that lifts in the center, creates a visual open arms effect. It draws the eyes upward, encourages upward movement, and adds a sense of lightness to the home. But when the arch dips too low, or the curve is overly dramatic, it can weigh the space down instead of lifting it. The key is gentle elevation, not extremes. So, what do you do if your gate's shape isn't ideal? Start by observing. How does it make you feel when you see it? Heavy, cluttered, inspired? Then ask yourself, what small adjustments can soften or strengthen the shape? You don't need to rebuild from scratch. Sometimes, adding a clean border frame, replacing sharp accents with rounded ones, or painting in a grounding color like deep green, slate, or soft earth tones can bring the balance back. If your gate has a downward curve, consider placing a lantern or soft light slightly above the center, creating a lift with illumination. You can also install climbing plants that follow an upward path, gently pulling the energy higher. The shape is what it is, but your intention can shift what it does. Above all, remember this: a strong gate isn't just about steel or wood. It's about presence. When a gate is quiet, steady, and shaped with care, the energy around it responds in kind. Life feels less rushed. Moments stretch. Opportunities pause before passing you by. So next time you stand before your gate, look beyond the design. Ask, does this shape lift me or lower me? Does it invite peace or create noise? The answer may not be loud, but you'll feel it in your body. Because the first promise your home makes to the world is drawn in the shape of its gate. And that promise is either come in and rest, or keep moving, there's nothing here. Shape wisely. Because the life you want to build begins right there, with how you frame the welcome. Number 2. Gate direction. Stand at your front gate and close your eyes. Feel the air, the sun, the sounds around you. Now ask yourself, in the quiet of your mind, is this direction lifting me or leaning against me? The direction your gate faces is not just a matter of orientation. It's your home's first point of contact with the wider world. It decides what kind of energy reaches you before anything else does. Before words, before routine, before even your own thoughts catch up, there's the direction silently setting the tone for your day, your rest, your flow. In many cases, people choose gate direction based on the layout of the lot, the street, or sheer convenience. And that's understandable. We don't always get to pick where our house sits, how the land is shaped, or what the neighbors built before we arrived. But direction is more than real estate, it's atmosphere. It's how the home breathes. Let's begin with the most supportive orientations. If your gate faces south, east, or southeast, you're already working with nature's rhythm. These directions tend to carry gentle, nourishing energy, what some call yang with grace. The south welcomes steady sunlight throughout the day. It brings warmth, uplift, and brightness. Homes with gates facing south often feel more active, energized, and socially open. There's a sense of movement, plans unfold more naturally, people feel drawn to visit, and gatherings flow with ease. The east is softer, more contemplative. It greets the first light of morning, new beginnings, clarity, the quiet rise of potential. Gates that face east tend to invite calm confidence. They support learning, fresh starts, emotional healing. Many people with east-facing gates report feeling more balanced in the mornings, more centered in thought, more gentle in conversation. Southeast, meanwhile, is the diplomat. It balances air and light, movement and peace. It's rarely too hot, too cold, too exposed. It offers adaptability. Homes with gates facing southeast often attract slow, sustainable growth, not loud success, but steady roots. But what about less favorable directions? A gate facing north can pose challenges, especially in climates that are already cold or damp. Northern winds tend to carry heavier energy. They make entrances feel shadowed, even when they're well designed. That weight can seep into the space, slowly leaving residents feeling tired for no clear reason, struggling with motivation, or sensing emotional distance even in close relationships. West-facing gates bring their own complexity. They receive intense afternoon light, ablazing, sometimes blinding energy. While that can energize, it also tends to overheat. The home may absorb more intensity than it's ready for, leading to volatility, strong passions, sudden changes, quick tempers. There's light, yes, but not always balance. Northwest and southwest gates walk a fine line. Depending on your environment, they can either harmonize or destabilize the home's energy. These directions tend to carry transitional qualities. They're like crossroads in the wind. And if the rest of the landscape doesn't support flow, if there are sharp buildings, heavy walls, or dead-end roads, they can cause confusion, indecision, or instability over time. So what do you do if your gate already faces a less favorable direction? You don't move the house, you move the feeling. Direction is not just compass points. It's about what the energy meets when it arrives. If your gate faces north, bring in warmth, a golden-hued light, a red-toned welcome mat, soft yellow flowers that bloom even in shade. Create contrast gently. Let the entrance feel like a place where cold air becomes calm air. For west-facing gates, soften the intensity. Use plants with broad leaves to filter the sun. Choose materials that absorb heat without radiating it. Add touches of blue, teal, or water features to cool the entrance both literally and emotionally. In transitional directions, create focus. A strong gate structure, clear paths leading in. Avoid clutter near the threshold. Let the energy know where to go, and it will follow. And finally, remember that no direction is a sentence. It's a setting. You choose how that setting feels. A home with a northwest gate and a clear, intentional entrance can feel far more alive than a south-facing home with a blocked, chaotic one. Energy flows where attention goes. So the question isn't just where your gate points. It's how clearly it receives. Does the direction offer space, light, and softness, or does it brace, deflect, and rush? Stand there again, feel the air, look outward, look inward. Does your gate meet the world like an open palm or a closed fist? That's not about luck. That's about design. And in your hands, design becomes direction and direction becomes destiny. Number 3. Proportions matter. Some things don't need to be big or small. They just need to feel right. Like the weight of a blanket, the height of a chair, the pause in a conversation. You may not always be able to explain why, but your body knows when something is out of proportion. And when it comes to your front gate, that sense of rightness isn't just about design. It's about flow, stability, and how life moves around you. We rarely talk about gate size in everyday life. It's not the feature most people obsess over when building or buying a home. But time and again, in homes where something always feels off, the gate is quietly telling the story. A gate too small compresses energy. A gate too large scatters it. Neither feels grounded. Neither helps the house hold what truly matters. Let's start with a gate that's too small. It may feel cozy, discreet, or even charming at first glance. But energetically, it's like breathing through a straw. Life force, worse what some call Kai, or simply flow wants to enter naturally. When the opening is too narrow, too tight, it can't move freely. Over time, that creates subtle tension. Residents may feel like they're constantly squeezing through life. Tight finances, limited opportunities, the sense that no matter how much effort they give, there's barely room for results. Even in a beautiful home, there's this undercurrent of compression, a feeling that you have to work harder for things that should come more easily. Now, flip that, a gate that's too large. At first, it might look grand, luxurious, impressive. But proportion is not about size, it's about fit. And when a gate is far larger than the house it serves, it creates imbalance. Energetically, it opens the door for too much too fast. It's like opening your windows during a storm. Yes, air comes in, but it doesn't stay. It swirls, it knocks things over, it rushes out just as fast as it arrived. The result: instability. Wealth might arrive, but slips away. Ideas come in bursts, but don't land. Relationships feel intense, but short-lived. Emotionally, it can create a sense of being overwhelmed, like your life is always reacting, never resting. The key here is harmony. Proportion is the language of peace. When the gate matches the scale of the house, the width of the path, the height of the walls, it signals unity. It tells energy, you're welcome here, and you have the right space to move. And that affects how people feel, not just outside, but inside, emotionally, physically, and relationally. For example, if the house is small but the gate looms like a fortress, it can make the home feel vulnerable, overshadowed. Residents might feel like they're constantly having to prove something, like they're living in a world too big for them. Confidence becomes posturing. Quietness becomes insecurity. On the other hand, if the house is spacious but the gate is narrow and hesitant, the energy of the home becomes unsure of itself. Progress slows. Vision shrinks. You can have resources, space, talent, but without the proper gateway, none of it feels like enough. It's not about ego, it's about alignment. So what does just right look like? It's a gate that moves with ease. Not too heavy to push. Not so light it flaps in the wind. It's wide enough for two people to pass through comfortably, but not so wide it loses its sense of entry. It frames the house, but doesn't overpower it. It stands strong, but still invites. And if you already have a gate that feels out of proportion, you don't need to rebuild it from scratch. You can rebalance the experience. If the gate is too large, soften the energy with texture wooden panels, vertical plants, stone paths that slow the approach. Add lighting that draws the eye inward, toward the house, instead of letting energy spill outward into the street. If the gate is too small, widen the energy field around it. Use horizontal lines in your landscaping. Add open fencing on either side to visually expand the threshold. Keep the area clear, well lit, and welcoming. You're not changing the gate, you're expanding its presence. Proportion is not about perfection. It's about comfort. A gate in the right proportion makes people feel at ease before they even step inside. It makes energy want to pause, stay, and nourish what's within. And in the end, that's what we're all building toward, not just a house that looks good, but one that feels whole. So next time you pass through your gate, take a moment. Notice how your body responds. Does it brace? Does it breathe? That feeling is the first message your home sends to the world and to you. And when the welcome feels just right, so does everything else. Final, a home doesn't speak in words, but it speaks. Every corner, every object, every choice we've made or left untouched carries a message. And nowhere does that message begin more clearly than at the gate. Maybe you never thought a gate could carry this much meaning. But by now, you've felt it, the direction it opens, the path it frames, The size it takes up in proportion to your life, it all adds up. Not to impress someone outside, but to create peace inside. To let energy in, not rush, not stall, but arrive. Settle. Stay. Because wealth isn't always about what you earn. It's also about what you hold. And what you hold is deeply shaped by the space that holds you. The gate is not just a structure, it's a signal, a beginning, a choice, to invite life in or to unknowingly turn it away. You don't need to change everything overnight. The most powerful shifts often begin with awareness. Just seeing your home with new eyes changes the way it holds you. A small light by the entrance, a softened mirror, a gate that breathes instead of blocks. These are not decorations, they are declarations, quiet ones, but deeply powerful. And maybe, somewhere in all of this, you've realized something else: you deserve a home that welcomes what you've been hoping for. Not later, not when things are perfect, but now. Thank you for staying, for listening, for caring about the way your home feels. It means something. It means you're ready to open not just the gate, but your life. And wherever you are, I wish you light at your doorway, flow in your hallway, and peace in every room. May your home hold more than just things. May it hold you, fully, gently, as you are. And may the next time life knocks, your gate knows exactly how to open.